Hey guys, this is Aubrey with Muttley Plans. This is going to be a little bit of a different video that I'm showing y'all today. This is actually me in my reading journal. I started this probably the end of last year. I've only got maybe 7-ish reads. If you would like, I can do a flip through, but I also know that this isn't like my usual content of like planning in my planner or fountain pens. So I don't know that y'all will appreciate it. I personally enjoyed filming it and the whole process. I'd never filmed myself doing or decorating my reading journal before, but I do know myself as a viewer. I do appreciate and love watching people plan or decorate their reading journal and write just their thoughts on different books. So I decided to give it a shot because this channel is all about, fun things and just bringing me joy that I can look back on later on. So, the book that I finished, this was a book that I finished in the month of April, is A Court This Cruel and Lovely, and it was by Stasia Stark. Not gonna lie, it started off very, very strong, and then the allure of the book kind of petered out towards the middle to end. Um, but overall it wasn't a bad read. Like I'm currently listening to the sequel of this book. I think there's 3 in this series. I may be wrong, there may be more, but there's at least 3 books in this series. And I do plan on reading all of them, just, for the sake of like, it's not a bad read. It's just is a read. I don't know. The florals that I'm using came out of that little booklet that I showed y'all a little while back. That booklet was gotten off of Amazon. It was a gift from my mom for Christmas. Love that book. I've definitely used quite a bit. I chose these darker, like crimson roses. One, because it matched the aesthetic of the book cover. But 2, it really did remind me of just like the darkness, like romanticy aspects of this book, which I did appreciate parts of that. My rating for it was only 3, which is denoted by those 3 rose gold or bronzy looking dots. The spice wise, I would definitely not suggest. It's definitely, it would be an R-rated film, not gonna lie. So I think I gave it like 4 dots for spiciness, mainly because, and I did appreciate this about this book, I will say, mainly because there is one graphic scene that you can skip over, but also there are comments and allusions throughout the book that definitely up the spice level. The tension building in this book was good in some parts, and then it was kind of like, for me personally, lacking. I definitely like the I don't know if you would call it the slow burn, but like just the build up, I guess. And I felt like some of the comments that the writer decided to have the characters make just were kind of out of place and untimely at times. What else? Yeah, I'm just decorating. I'm having a ball putting these different stickers down. Um, I really liked how this turned out. Uh, if you don't mind spicy books, getting back to the book, because, we like to bounce all over. If you don't mind books that have like just one big spicy scene, this is the book for you. If you're one of those like, no, I want all of the spice all of the time through the entire book, this is not the book for you. Um, so I did appreciate that like the author didn't necessarily throw the crazy scenes in throughout the book. It was just kind of like one big scene, and it was like, okay, we're done. And that was maybe 3/4 of the way into the book. So I definitely appreciated that, because I don't mind the spice, but I do mind if there's not a good like storyline. And I will say the concept of this book was so good. Like the beginning of the book had me hooked to the point where I was telling my husband, I was like, man, you should absolutely read this. And he started reading it, but he kind of decided, this isn't the book for me, once he got about a quarter of the way through, which is fine. I appreciate his try. But yeah, I did wind up finishing this book, and I don't regret it, but this won't be like, oh my gosh, my fave. If you've read this book before, let me know in the comments. How did you feel about it? Did you like it? And if so, like what parts of it did you like? My personal favorite was just the world that they were in. I thought it was a really cool concept, and I definitely appreciated just the concept of the story. You know, it's got a little bit of elves, it's got halflings, it's got humans, and they're all trying to coexist, but they're not coexisting very well. And it's got a little bit of mystery and intrigue. And so I did appreciate that. So yeah, and just for those of you, I do catch, after I stop filming, that I forgot to put the L at the end of cruel. So don't worry. I did fix that, but it's definitely, yeah, it doesn't get fixed in this video. It's fixed on the cover page though, or the cover, picture. But anyway, the pin that I'm using is my Franklin Christoph O2 model, and it is in the colorway Sage. I love this pin. It's a broad nib. I can put whatever shimmer ink I want in it, which I'm not a huge shimmer ink user, but when I do, I like them in the big broad nibs. And then the ink that I'm using is Van Diemen's. I think it's Birds of a Feather, and then the color is Hummingbird Wing. And this is such a gorgeous ink. I'm super tempted to get a bottle of it, and I may still get a bottle of it, but I'm gonna see how I feel when I finish this sample that I'm working on, because I did get this in my mystery samples from Van Ness Pens. But I have no regrets at all. I felt like this darker green with a little bit of shimmer matched the aesthetic of this pretty well, which is why I went ahead and chose it to write my thoughts on this book, which I'm sure if you want, you can read. I didn't really give away any spoilers on the book, just kind of how I felt about it. You know, I liked the lead, the heroine, and I thought she was pretty good. I wish there was a little bit more character development, but, you know, this book definitely set the stage for her to have even more development. Whereas the male lead, that was another thing that was off-putting, and maybe it's because I'm in a healthy relationship. I don't know. But the male lead came off very, very pointed. I don't know how to say, controlling. There you go. He was very controlling, and he was so powerful that it was basically like his go-to for anything is to overpower everyone and everything around him. And I just didn't like that. I love healthy relationships, and I feel like he's not setting himself up to have a healthy relationship. Homeboy may need some therapy. And as far as them being a couple and stuff, I'm really hoping that in the second book, the hero is a little bit more, like, more to his story and his character gets developed to where he is more likable. But at least for me in this first book, he wasn't really very likable to me. Like, I definitely like the tough guy. In my books, don't get me wrong, but I don't like guys that are constantly overpowering. I like them to have a chink in their armor, a quirk, something that humanizes them a little bit. They shouldn't be, this Mr. Tough guy all the time. They shouldn't be, you know, what is it, domineering, demeaning, and just not very likable, honestly. So, um, that was probably my least favorite part of this book, was that the male lead, Lorian is his name, was just so controlling, and I don't like that. I don't there's a time and place for that, I guess, if you will, but I don't feel like you should be that way all the time. My favorite quote that I chose, so moving on now that my rant's over, my favorite quote from this book, and I'll be honest, I Googled it, but the quote was, one day soon, you'll have to make a choice. Be a torch for just one soul in the dark, or shine like the sun for them all, I think is what it wound up being. And I ran out of I ran out of room, so I had to actually pull that up. So burn like the sun for them all. And I really like that because Priska, the heroine, that's very much like what she had to learn to do. And I really did like the aspects of the heroine. It's just, I feel like the hero needed just a little bit more, humanizing, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, that's my thoughts. This is my first reading journal with y'all. I hope you like it. Bye.